And we've got Lookout, which has definitely been a refreshing map for me. I like this a lot. We just jumped out of a Lookout game in a prior series. But the way this map works, you begin with barracks, a tower, and a house over here, and a mule cart. And 3 villagers are always in the mule cart area. So you do not need a barracks. One of the players forgot that in the previous game, which was a little bit embarrassing, and they built another barracks later. Don't need to do that. Vinchester's gone for the Chinese. Incredible civilization, starting with the additional vills. I do want to actually look and see. Did they start with negative food here? Yeah, okay. So this tournament did it the right way. Basically, if you want to balance out a 9-villager start, the best way I've seen it balance, you look at the top right, you actually start Chinese with negative food. If that doesn't make sense to you, I can explain it more later. But other tournaments didn't do that, and then Chinese were just stupid busted. Because you start with 12 villagers in a 9-villager start, right? Look at Vinch. Vinch saw that scout, and he's just waiting for Barles to run past there. So he can hit that gate to shoot him with the TC. But doesn't happen. And on the other side, we got Barles. Barles is playing as the Mongols. You have the hunt from the mule cart. That's faster. You have the 2 boars. That's faster. So Mongols have that hunt bonus. But the way this matchup typically plays out, you have Mongols, which can dominate the early game. Chinese dominate the mid game. And then in the very late game, Mongols are one of the best civs there is. So, especially now that Chinese don't get camels anymore. Chinese are not as good as the Mongols in late game, but you have to fight to get there against a very strong Chinese eco. And good option, so. Yeah, my parents don't watch streams. I mean, I think they will occasionally. If I'm running a big event, they'll, like, poke their head in and see how I'm doing, maybe. My dad used to. I hope he doesn't anymore. Well, no, he can't anymore because I bought him YouTube Premium. But my dad would just, like, pull up my YouTube videos and click the ads. And he must have been doing it for years. He told me, yeah, I click them because it gives you money, right? I'm like, Dad, stop clicking the ads. It actually triggers me that you're spending so much time clicking the ads on the videos. Stop doing that. I'm like, you don't understand. It's not giving me, like, $1. It's giving me, like, 0.001 cents. He's like, yeah, but I've done it a lot, you know. So he's giving me at least 50 cents in ad revenue. My grandmother, I think it was after Hidden Cup 4, so my granny is what we call her, she called me, and she, you know, she congratulated me, and then she told me she watched, which I had no clue she would ever watch. She goes, and I want you to know that I watched, and I was, like, so thankful. She was so, you know, so sweet. And she goes, and I heard words from your mouth that I never thought I would hear from my grandchild. And then she gave me a hard time because I swore. And then she gave me this spiel about how, you know, don't let this change who you are, grandson. Don't let this change the sweet boy that I know. I'm like, oh my God, Granny. So yeah, that was a couple years ago. It's so funny though. But in general, my family doesn't watch a lot. If anyone, my brother would watch. So yeah, funny stuff. Remember, you've got outposts on the map, and so you get quite a bit of vision from that. Barles does wall this side, and is opening with well, not opening with a range, but he's adding a range now. He added a stable from the right side, and I don't think Vinch was expecting that. Vinch scouted the main base. Vinchester was never expecting scouts from that area, so nifty move from Barles. Vinchester saw this range opening and they just thought it was a very late archer play or something. The scouts get through from Vinchester now. And there was a bear attacking the spearman for Vinch. That's kind of annoying. But that's exactly what you want against the Chinese. You want to snipe 1 or 2 villagers ideally. But you notice how there's not this massive villager lead for Vinchester. Yeah, you think about a normal start with Chinese, where everyone else is 3 vills. Chinese get 6. It takes a while to get the food income to get that next villager producing, right? Well, in a 9-villager start, all civs get 9, and then Chinese would get 12. So it doesn't take very long at all to get resources compared to your standard start, which is why the best balanced decisions for 9 villager starts is you actually make Chinese start with in the negative with food to compensate for that. And I think it was warlords that didn't do that, and then Chinese were just insane. Whereas I think Noble Apartment Cup, NAC, the first event that I ever saw like that was one of Nilly's Apartment Cups. I really felt like they found the sweet spot where Chinese were strong, Chinese were solid, but their start wasn't completely insane. So good to see they went for the negative food. Scouts lurking around, not attacking there, which is rather interesting. Vinchester was exposed. It is kind of weird though, like having all your military buildings separated from each other is definitely awkward long term. Vinchester's going for his own archers right now, and that's why he's on the gold on the side. And now Vinchester comes over to Barles. Wants this villager. Can he get the blocking? Probably not. But the villagers do get pushed off of gold. Still only 2 scouts for Barles here. Chat, who's your favorite? Wait, why are Chinese better on a 9 villager start? I just kind of explained it. Again, different 9 villager starts have different aspects to it, but because the weakness of the Chinese start is they have 0 food. I'll explain it again, okay? And that's with 6 vills. Well, when you have 0 food and you have 12 vills, it's twice as easy to get the start rolling. So they are better in a 9 villager start, unless it's compensated with the balance of the maps to have negative food for the Chinese to make it pretty much the same as the other games. The 3 villager opening, so. T90, should the ranked ladder move to 9 start? Absolutely not. No freaking way, dude. I would be very upset if they do that. Big fight here. This is not good for Vinchester. And maybe it is, actually. Maybe it is. The start to the fight was horrible, and the end of the fight was horrible as well. Yikes. He just didn't expect Barles to be moving forward, and Barles just completely collapsed on his army there. And in a fight, in a game that's been relatively smooth up to this point, Barles is going to get some nice damage in here. And Vinchester's game plan changes. He now needs some skirms, and he needs to damage control. Vinch, only 4 kills this game. Now, this might not feel like he's going to kill a lot, but he could run through. I'm surprised he doesn't. He could actually run through right now. And he's also idling all these farms. He's forcing a lot of reactions and investment from Vinchester that Vinchester wouldn't have done otherwise. And Barles behind full walls is a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous player. And he's got those walls down now. The only villagers that are exposed would be these 3, which is to be expected. And Barles, scared and respecting the Chinese, will actually sell his stone now. Likely so he can just reach Castle Age a little bit faster. Chat's a little trolly today. I like it. But when I asked people for their favorites, it was about 50-50. You had a couple people say Doubt, which obviously is a troll. You had one person say Your Mom. But then we had quite a few Vinches and quite a few Barles. I would have probably said Vinchester. I'm not going to let the current state of this game influence my thinking there. I would say like a Vinchester 3-2. Or a Vinchester 3-1. Castle Age times will be similar. Barles has an opportunity here. Vinchester is busy on this side. And he gets in close before he fires the first volley, which is textbook. That's perfect. Yeah, that's so well played. And then he also uses his scout to provide some safety for these archers. And so now it's been 3 villagers killed by Barles this game. And now the archers are not all going to be grouped together. Barles doesn't really have that many of them. There's 4 over here, if they survive. There's 5 over here. So you could easily see him overextending a little bit. And then he doesn't have the stone to add TCs, and he doesn't have cheaper techs like the Chinese. So I think he'll probably just buy the stone back if he wants to boom, but it's not actually going to be this killer follow-up for Barles. But it is disrupting Vinch. feels very easy to overextend here. Like, have you gone too far now? I think you have. Yep, I think you have. The skirms have armor. The archers are getting killed off. Vinchester can go back to the gold. Look at Vinch's micro as well. He hits and he immediately moves after them, not allowing these archers to escape at all. And Barles is going to make it to Castle Age for what, 5 archers? And he just buys the stone. Okay, so he buys the stone, drops the second TC. Well, that feels logical, right? Because you can't do a lot of damage with crossbows now. Wick, I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Second TC is coming up. Gold on the back for Barles is really nice long term, but the stone is outside of his walls, which I think is consistent on this map. Haven't seen enough generations to know, but that's also the case for Vinch. Is this live? It is live. Live from the past. Now you're confused. I'm sorry. I'm in a trolly mood as well. I mean, what do you do now as the Mongols? We've now hit that stage of the game. The Mongol hunt is gone. That big wave of army is gone. And now you're just you're a generic civ against a civilization with super cheap techs. Chinese are feeling pretty smooth right now. Vinchester's got a lot of time to make some decisions. But Vinchester seems a little bit uneasy here. Because it's weird that Barles would have so little. Obviously, Barles has seen skirms with all the outposts. So he's expecting some type of play. But the stable is actually over here. So if the knights are going to come, they'll come from that direction. As someone who's a big fan of building outposts because I think they're important, I am now also a big fan of taking out someone's outpost because they're important. The fact that Barles will lose all this precious vision right where all these golds are and won't know what the army movement looks like long term is pretty crazy. Whereas for Vinchester, no surprises, right? I do think Vinch probably needs to wall this, though. Look, Barles just looked with his spearmen, I think. It was looking to see if this is open. Like, he could technically raid. Barles will build a TC over here with these villagers. But outposts are going down. A spearman will die here as well. Vinchester going for ballistics. Which I don't necessarily think you need, but again, you're Chinese, why not? Makes your skirms that much stronger. Siege Workshop for Barles. Barles is so good at keeping himself in a game. Like, very rarely are you going to do enough damage to break him. So, he's cooking. And will be 3 town centers faster than Vinchester, but just lacking a lot of map control. Would really like to see Vinch go for a Siege Workshop right in the middle. But I don't know if that's his playstyle. It's MBL's playstyle. We just got out of an MBL series. Oh, God. If Vinchester didn't know there was any siege until now. Obviously, he'll be a lot more careful. But in that moment, he was placing the 3rd town center. Between the stones, though. Skirms moving through. Skirms have ballistics now, so could snipe all the archers from behind. And 1 archer, 2 archers, and it's going to be 3 as well. So again, no real offensive presence whatsoever for Barles. He does go for light cap. He was expecting monks to be out and about getting those relics. So that's a really nice addition that just isn't actually fitting the situation just yet. There are 4 people already invited to the main event of this, which is pretty standard for LAN events these days. Some of them invite 2, some of them invite 4. But Hera, Viper, Leary, and Yo are already qualified, so they will not play in the qualifier. Usually the answer anytime someone says, why am I not seeing this player? They're usually invited. If they were not, they would just be killing off really talented players in that bracket. So it actually, it is a good way of giving the best possible lineup for an event, I would say. Who organizes this event? It's actually a great question. I think Yo is like kind of the face of it, but I don't think he's actually the host. I think the sponsor, the Chinese sponsor, is the one putting the money up for it. So the LY sponsor. But I don't have his name, and I don't really have any more details for you there. I will be I don't know if I'll be casting the main event of this. If I do so, I'm casting it from home. They didn't have the budget to like fly casters there and whatnot. So I won't be traveling to China. So there's still a lot I'm not really sure on how that would work. I don't know what type of feeds we're going to get. I'm assuming we're getting feeds, but maybe we don't. You know, there's still some details I'm not sure on. I have to wait for some feedback on. But yeah, I will not be going to China. There will be the Chinese broadcast, but there will be English people casting the games in English as well. Just don't know like what we're going to have. I assume there's going to be a feed. Like they would give us footage to use. But we haven't gotten there yet. Now, that was a nice pick-off there from Barles, guys, who has a nice villager lead. And that siege workshop for Vinchester was kind of key, as we said. Pressuring this area, specifically where the stone is when up against Mongols, is huge. And Barles has a monk waiting, so he can convert one of those knights. And he will do so. He'll lose one of his Manganels. He might lose the second. There's a hill bonus there. No, he'll save it. Barles is playing well. But the siege workshop goes up. But what's the army type going to be? Now that the eco is climbing for Barles, Barles could go for a lot more knights in Lycav. He made a stable here, so he's got 2, counting this one. So he probably needs to fight back. I mean, a lot of times you're going to play imp timings. But imp timings into upgrading 3 archers feels a little rough. Going for stone now means you're really late with getting Mangadai. Maybe it could be cav archers and imp for Barles. A knight gets through the unwalled base and kills some vills. Again, why did Vinchester not wall this? I'm not so sure. But Vinchester is imping, and Vinchester wants a castle here. If Vinch can build a castle here and go trebs from this position, that's such a good area to push. Be crazy. Nova First Time Chatter says, what version of this game do I need to buy to play online? The Definitive Edition. And there's a bunch of DLCs. You don't need to have the DLCs with the new civs to play online. You just can get the base version of DE, and you get like 28 civs with that. You get a lot. Don't get the HD edition. The HD edition is super old. I think it even says, like... I think it even says something to imply that, but... I mean, HD edition's very new compared to the 1999 version, but you want to play the Definitive Edition. They really should just remove that from being purchased, because I've seen people buy the wrong one and then be disappointed. But people still play HD, so there's still a community there. Vinchester, do we not have a market, bro? God, I've been waiting for this castle for so long. Honestly, if Vinch loses this game, how much of it is going to be because he didn't have trebs immediately? Like, he's still going to be up faster. But that's crazy to me how long he was waiting for the stone for that castle. Also, I have some real concerns. Barles is super safe with his eco, except for this area. Vinch is wide open. So Barles is going to be able to raid Vinchester nonstop. That's the best thing for Barles to do right now. Like cav raids into the eco, and then you hope to build up enough army to deal with the trebs. But the trebs were very late. Arthur, thanks for the new sub, and says first time catching you online. Salutes in chat for Arthur. Welcome, man. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. Good series here. We might even have more after this, because there's other sets happening all the time. The stones all being on the front for Barles is really why Vinchester's pressuring here. And the Mongols need that stone for Mangadai. Barles will probably not be able to get to a second castle anytime soon. I think he will have to repair this castle. The second treb is already on the way. Vinchester's getting upgrades to go for Cavalier now. Ah, man, dude, but he's going to be raided nonstop at this level. Can you get by playing open like this? Oh, you can if you can garrison your TC like that. But the light cav are only going to get stronger. This is a crazy game because If Barles loses this castle, he has no defense for Cavalier. But his eco is insane. And Mongol Hussars do have more HP. There he goes again. Now it's almost too late for Vinchester to wall. So now he has to do the quick walling and the garrisoning. Barles will not know he has a 30 villager lead. As far as he knows, he's way behind because he's getting trebbed constantly. And now Vinchester goes for conscription? He goes 2 trebs into conscription? I'm so confused. Do we have a sense of urgency here or not? The castle was late compared to what it could have been. And now he goes 2 trebs and stops. Well, hold up. He loses a treb. He almost loses a second treb. Conscription is nice for army production. So there is that. Vinch is just... I said it when he played against Margugu. He plays so relaxed. And it looks amazing when he's ahead. But sometimes when he's behind, he does things that are super relaxed and as well. Like this castle? He's just completely underestimating the position for Barles. Barles has army there. He has stables there. Now Vinch is going to lose more villagers. And now more light cav come in from Barles to snipe the trebs. Quick gates here from Vinch. He is still forcing Barles to repair that castle constantly, but he also has to repair his own castle. Crazy, though, because he has the stone for it. Also, hello, villager. Villagers walking into the eco. Villagers go down for Vinch. Some survive. Barles still committing a lot to repairs. I'd love to see Barles get the Hussar upgrade. He's going to go for the Camel upgrade. I don't hate that, because you're up against Cavalier. That can be really strong if this castle's gone for Vinch. And it's close to it. It's close to gone. He has the stone, but does he have the vills? He doesn't. Huge hold from Barles. He made it look very easy. The constant raids were such a big part of this, though, because Vinchester's distracted. Vinchester can't have any rhythm to his gameplay. And the GG's called. What a game. Barles went for a crazy eco this game. A crazy eco. It was 4 TCs. And he started to poke around. I think he killed 8 villagers in Castle Age. And he just realized that Vinchester was playing open. Now, I think Vinchester could have tweaked a couple things here. I think a few more walls. And he doesn't lose as many vills. And it's not quite as messy. But more than that, I think he really lacked a market before Imp to actually play towards his strategy. This is another thing, right? If this siege workshop wasn't denied, this siege push actually pressures this area, and then the stone is never taken. So that's just amazing play from Barles. Barles knew to lurk around for that and killed that. But where it got a little weird for me is these villas were here. They built a house, they built all these things, and they're just standing there, and he didn't actually have a market, guys. So he has no market, he can't buy the stone, and they didn't have enough on stone because he used the forward villagers to come forward. So the castle could have been up faster if he had a market. The trebs could have been out faster. And then, on top of it, he went 2 trebs and then went conscription. Which I don't love because your advantage, your whole strategy is playing into trebs. Now, as a counter to what I just said, he probably thought I'm going to lose the trebs anyways to the light cap, which is probably true. But yeah, it just wasn't coming together there for Vinch. Barles outboomed him. And let's just say Barles was able to get away with more because he had way more economy there. So well played. Barles takes the first win. And Vinchester's got to be a little bit more extreme, I think. Like, add more eco, raid a little bit more. It was just very relaxed, that game. Well, I'm excited for this because we just saw Vinchester play with the Georgians earlier on Acropolis, and it looked very good. But now we've got the way. So we'll see if Barles knows the way or if Vinchester knows the way. I really like the way. I think the way they're not necessarily an overpowered civ, but I think they're a very well-balanced civ. The way they get more villagers from their eco upgrades, that's a nice bonus. I like that. It's better than any like free villagers in terms of civ design. The Jean Bays uploaded a video this morning, actually, where I think the Jean Bay is really underrated. It's only 20 gold to make a Jean Bay, so it's kind of like a cav archer. Also, their unique unit's very strong. That's expensive. I doubt we're going to see that. I also doubt we're going to see the Cacao here, the hero. But Wei can be decent. Now, they are touching mountains right now. Usually, the players are very far apart from each other. I don't know what it is about the script, but occasionally on Acropolis, in any version of any Acropolis version in any tournament, there's always the occasional chance that they're touching peaks. And so, I don't know if they'll notice that. Okay, technically, if you look at Barles here, he should notice that's going up. But I don't think that's clear enough for him. So I think he's probably going to scout out here, looking for his opponent, and won't find him. And then Vinchester has been pushing deer. So Vinchester is definitely going to scout out here. And then they'll eventually move around and find where the other is. Now, Vinchester, he's got some gold long-term up here to expand to. He's got these golds. These seem very nice. The fact that the extra golds at the bottom for Barles are all here, where there's going to be a lot of activity. I mean, there's also golds for Vinchester. Just makes things very interesting. So, I wouldn't say this is an admin re. No one should be stepping in here telling them to restart. But some generations just get wonky sometimes. These players have played enough Acropolis to know that. And yeah, look at them pass each other. There they go. But the Georgians should have the way better start. And the dock build is a bit better for Vinchester. You have the free mule cart. You don't need to invest as much wood into building a lumber camp, right? Now it is just shorefish, which I think is a nice move. In one of the Titans League seasons, we had the deep fish, and then everyone was just playing this as a water map, which kind of sucked. So the shorefish is good. I like that. Gives you something, but it's less efficient than the deep fish. How is Barles missing these sheep? Oh my... Are you kidding me? Barles is looking everywhere for these sheep. And they are perfectly positioned in the darkness there. That's funny. Well, he'll probably find them eventually. But that is extremely unlucky. You think you're unlucky in life? Nope, Barles is more unlucky than you. Okay? He just is. Oh, man. That might be a nice little short there for YouTube later on. I don't know. He's pushing in a deer to get more food now. Because he just thinks his sheep were stolen. Both players in Feudal Age. Stables coming up on this side. Vinchester sees it. Vinchester also sees the villager and wants to be annoying. Vinchester also sees the scout and wants to be annoying. The Georgian scout regenerates, so they'll be happy to take this fight. But it's a super slow regeneration. Oh, Vinchester found the sheep. Oh, Vinchester stole the sheep. Okay. Well, Barles will never know they were there. He thought they were stolen this whole time. So, yep, you were right. It's a tough balance of taking wood in the exposed area and then adding everything else at home here. Barles still doesn't know where Vinchester is. And hey, he found the sheep. Nice. Yeah, he has no clue that Vinch is over here. He'll find out pretty quick, though. He's not going to see a massive hill here, so obviously Vinch has to be another direction. It's kind of wild that Vinchester found him so early, and now the sheep have been taken again! What is going to happen to these sheep? Now they're... Okay, now Barles has the sheep again. These sheep have been through it. I think you're okay with playing passive in some ways, if you're the way, because you have the additional vills when you get the eco upgrades, but it's scary against the Georgians, man. Especially when the Georgian player has added fish. The worker count's actually about even right now. And there's been no pre-walling from Barles in this wood line. He has to engage against the spear now, and that will be a villager down. As she gets sniped. Very nice start from Vinchester. Again, he just needed to be more aggressive in the previous game. He's just like, was really casual and relaxed about things. But that's Vinch's playstyle. He does some pretty crazy moves. Oh, that was a regroup. That was a thanks DE moment. Anyone who plays this game knows what that was. He clicked them back and they regrouped on him. Went right into the spearmen. So that was painful. What, you're telling me that the last 11 patches that said the pathing was been adjusted didn't fix that? Wow. Damn. Can't believe everything you read. Barles is just finding Vinchester's base now. Well, no, he's not. Barles is finding the north of the map. Barles! Bro! The dock is on this side, man. Oh, I mean, I've seen people not find the opponent initially, but he is really confused. He's either really confused or he's really trying to be sneaky. But there we go. They say they're fixing regrouping in the July update. They've said, I've heard, even from people behind the scenes, like such and such is better in the next patch. And the second I play it, every time I'm like, am I being trolled right now? So that's just my honest take on it. I'll believe it when I see it is probably a good way to say it. Because I do believe people are working on things. I do believe people are testing, but I don't know if it's to the extent it needs to be. Also, I don't think Vinchester saw the spearmen in there. He did not see the spearmen in there. And so that's why he stayed in that fight, and that's a nice fight for Barles, who now actually knows where Vinchester is, which is good. Yeah, I've been, like, I feel like being an AoE 2 fan is like being... I feel like I'm being gaslit sometimes as an AoE 2 addict. Because it's like someone telling me, I swear I love you. I love you. I love you. I'll be better. And then you're like, oh, okay, because you love the game so much. And then the pathing's not better. But then it's like, oh, we're where? We love you so much. Oh, we love you. And then you're like, oh, they're so beautiful. Look at how fun the game is and good the strategy is. And I'll be better. And I'm like, the patch notes are gaslighting me constantly. It's kind of like an abusive relationship. Only, you know, I don't want to belittle anyone else's actual serious problems. This is a video game, but I think Barles will be okay with how this has gone, but he won't be in love with how this has played out. He didn't get any offensive damage in. In his mind, he'll be thinking he's up 2 Vils because of the eco bonuses of the way. Actually, I guess he'd be up 1 Vil because he lost 1. The tower there's pretty nice. Here comes Vinchester. Vinchester might not know about that gold in the back. So I think Vinch was happy to dive through here to try and get to a gold. But yeah, he doesn't know about the gold. Otherwise, making through there wouldn't have made a ton of sense. And now he wants to dive the tower, which could be risky. Really tough to wall here. Barles is trying. Where's the army from Barles? They're on vacation in the middle right now. Barles needs to get all hands on deck here, but Barles does hold. And he doesn't lose anything in the end. Sometimes going up to Castle Age too early is a problem, guys. Because you're cutting military numbers, which means in the period while you're on the way up, it's just so awkward for you. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Whereas Vinchester produced a little bit more army. He will be later to Castle Age, but his eco is set. His eco is smooth. Though he might need to leave this wood line. Because that wood line is arse, as that villager just said. I think the plan is for Barles to go Janbei. Again, they only cost 20 gold. Perfect timing with my YouTube content. Because of that video I uploaded today. Not sure if anyone here had the time to watch it. If you didn't, you can watch it later. But my take is that I think it's very good. I think it's slept on. I think it's underrated. I don't think people realize how good it is. A lot of that for me is due to the cost. It's only 20 gold. So it's very easy to mass them. Barles was pushed off of gold, so he wasn't really able to get a lot of it. So it feels like a good time for Janbei. So he's not producing any yet. He did kill a villager with the scouts on the back, and here's the Janbei. You know what's confusing to me? There's Camel Rider. There's Woad Raider. And now it's Janbei Raider when I think it would be Janbei Rider because they're riding, like a camel's riding, you know? So I almost instinctively want to call these Janbei Riders, so I might do that. Sorry in advance. So this unit has, the first attack has like a flurry of arrows. It's very menacing. But like any Cav Archer style unit, you need to mass them. And I would say if the unit's so cheap, I think 3 range is maybe the way you need to play it right now. But maybe I'm wrong. Certainly Barles is under some pressure right now for his wood line. And the Janbeis just get jumped on by the crossbowmen. There's just so much military for Vinchester. Vinchester knows how rough that wood situation is for Barles. And he knows how much time he needs to mass those Janbeis. There go 3 of them. Now that TC from Vinch is huge. It gives him the gold. It gives him wood. He actually needs to put them on wood. He has gold. Vinch still camping the wood line. Who's having a more efficient day? My Twitch chat or the lumberjacks on Barles in this eco here? Let's look. I don't know if you guys have stats for your day, but these villagers have been moving 28% of the time. They've been idle 4% of the time. I guess it's a Saturday, so they've probably still been more efficient than you guys have been, which is good. Which is good. That's how it should be. But yeah, they have not really been efficiently working at all, and even though the worker count's the same, the difference in res collected is massive here. Moving 28% of the time is actually pretty... It's pretty bad for a villager. Pretty good for a human, I suppose. Staying active. Barles still keeping the vills alive. This is a great game to find out how good the Janbeis are, because he's behind by 2,000 res collected. If he can win this game with Janbeis, the unit is truly insane. 55 HP after Bloodlines. You can see the extra attack charges up. So you don't have that all the time. 2 TCs for Vinch. Vinch correctly going into skirms. This should be a very good choice against the Janbeis. Just like against Cav Archers, only even more so because the Janbeis don't have the same HP. But Barles is just missing so many things. He still needs ballistics. This can be a frustrating thing about Age of Empires sometimes. You're like, oh, you need to do damage, but then you're one step removed from being ready to do damage, and then the longer you wait, the bigger problem it is. Barles never scouted it, but sometimes in Acropolis you have these little safe wood lines. Oh, he did scout it, actually. Maybe a lumber camp there could have been nice. It's not a lot of trees, but it's still something. And Janbeis are just missing their shots right now. Xterra, thanks for 63 months. What? Thank you. And Apella and Daniela. That rhymed. Apella, Daniela, AA. Thank you guys for the umbrella AA. 18 months. Still no ballistics. But we'll have some He Guang in front of the Janbeis. Are you guys impressed with the Janbeis yet? This unit's either horrible or amazing, with no in between, it seems. But now Vinch has just played perfect. He's 3 TCs. He's got crossbows. He's got skirms. He has ballistics. He's got the cav in here. Ballistics is still 15 seconds away from Barles. Can he now take a fight? Can he finally engage? Here he goes. Gets the He Guang in front. And now he should get it clear. Well, this is where the army starts to feel pretty strong. And so now, what do you make? You make skirms. But with 3 cav in front, which have some solid HP to them. And then, almost fully upgraded Janbeis, this could get kind of complicated. And if Barles drops a castle right here, takes all that gold, the TC, the monastery away, things could get kind of crazy here. Janbei's destroy. Now, granted, they did overkill because they just attacked one unit, which is not really what you want. And I think Vinchester has just enough to hold this. When you have the eco lead, that's all you need. Just enough. Yeah, that's good enough. Killing off the Janbei's. That He Guang needs to be dealt with. But there's 3 crossbowmen in there that are dealing out damage to it. And yeah, just unit needs to back away now. This is the same issue with Cav Archers, right? Cav Archers either feel insanely strong or horrible. And a lot of it comes down to how the position you're in when you start to make them. If you're in early Castle Age and you're trying to mass them against a big army, it's going to feel brutal. But if you were ahead in the early stages, this is why making so much more army in Feudal Age is nice. Because it gives you that breathing space. There's an army that they have to deal with. And before they deal with the Cav Archers, it gives you time to mass. Just didn't really work out there, but there's another Janbei army. And there's finally the second TC for Barles. Army back here won't accomplish much. Fishing ships for Vinchester are being microed because he's a nerd. I would never micro that fishing ship. I've got 85 vils. But Vinchester says I can. Let me just dance with that. What's up, Brian and Nanohertz? Thank you guys for the 40 months. Economy's absolutely ridiculous for Vinch. If he spends his resources, it's over. But if he thinks, let's go imp. Let's chill a little bit. There's a chance this gets wild because Barles knows he's behind and Barles is going to drop a castle. A castle on the top of this hill would hit really hard, actually. It would arrange a lot of farming eco. It would arrange this TC. I think this is the better castle, like the easier castle to place. The He Guang are clearing up the skirms in the back. Vinchester doesn't really have a ton of army. And Janbei's can kill skirms. And here comes the castle. That castle's not... That castle's going up. Is Vinch going to drop his own castle right now? Oh, God. Oh, man. Vinch is trying to drop his own castle. Move, 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 move units. Move units, move units. Okay. They're both in a position to try and deny the other's castle. Obviously, Barles will get his up because he's building a 60 at 60%. Vinch is... It's a ballsy one, but I think it will go up. You know what I'm realizing with the Janbei arrows? I kind of feel like they have a lot of potential if you're using 2 groups of them. Because I'm seeing... I don't know how much damage is being output with that first volley, but there's extra projectiles, right? And I'm seeing Barles focus down one unit. So he might be doing like 300 damage to a unit that only has 35 HP. It's overkill onto one unit. So I guess that has a lot of potential if you can manage that. We got a castle from Barles here as well, but there's knights here. And Barles needs to wall this. And Barles is walling it! No! No! Wall! Wall! She can't! She can't! This castle has to go up. It has to go up. If it doesn't go up, he's dead. And the knights are through. Oh, man. There is an army back here still. Honestly, that was a really good quick wall. I didn't think he was going to be able to have any chance. Castle's at 80%. And I know Doubt was knocked out of this qualifier. But he is here in his own special ways. Doubt Castle. And now the 2 castles for Vinchester are up. And Vinchester can make Manaspa. Well, is it a Doubt Castle if it eventually completes? Probably not, right? So this castle will complete. Janbei's looping around. The He Guang and Janbei army still could maybe lurk around. And Vinch is under some pressure with his eco. I give props to Barles for really putting his pedal to the floor here. Back to the overkill thing, though. Janbei should be really good against high HP units, then. So it's not bad in other circumstances. Vinch is putting a church in every area of his economy for the work rate. He's got a very nice economy there. Here he'll move to the north. But the castles for Barles and Vinch have ballistics. So it's actually kind of tough to produce Manaspa and send them this way, for example, if you're Vinch, because the castle would hit it. And Vinch can't get army on the field right now. He's trying to mass Manaspa. I think Jean Bays could beat Manaspa. And I think Barles is going to drop another castle. With how the previous game went, Barles was able to just stay in it, even though he didn't have a lot of army, and then he was able to come back. Here, yeah, I would say fight that. You kill that every single time. Keep moving through. Here, he's finding more. Like, can Vinchester keep up with this right now? There's a lot of eco that's exposed, getting raided. The church is not really a great safety net for your citizens. Well, actually, maybe it is. I don't know. Depends on the church, but this church will fire some arrows. Now, the Manaspa are here. The Manaspa is what you want. So finally, Vinchester shows us some army here. But I think we're going to see another castle from Barles somewhere. Barles is trying to keep this one up right now. And the army running away on this side for Barles. Barles is bringing Vils to repair. Oh, and we've got Tiger Cav. 135 HP, 11 base attack. And Tigers. If I was 10, I would be obsessed with this unit. I was obsessed with Jaguar Warriors because I thought they were the coolest unit. So Tiger Cav's kind of similar. Rip to the Tigers. But still, this unit is better than a Manaspa, guys. There's a cost difference, but it's definitely better than a Manaspa. At least against ranged units. I guess in melee engagements, maybe Elite Manaspa makes it close. So it's a full unique unit army for Barles right now, because he's going Tiger Cav and Jean Bays, and he wants another castle. This one also needs to be walled, because if Vinch sees it, Vinch will pounce. And, well, he can see the foundation, but he's looking for this army right now, and the army's actually found him, and the army will win the fight. Vinch's army just gets destroyed here. Jean Bays are more than good enough. The Tiger Cav only have one armor upgrade, but doesn't matter. Well, actually, Manaspa still Manaspa. I was very wrong. I misjudged that. My bad. They're still new. Tiger Cav don't have as much melee armor. The Manaspa have 5, right? Yeah, they have 5. That's really strong. So it's 5. It was 5 versus 1 in that fight. Imp is on the way for Vinch, but now the Tiger Cav are destroying his eco here. Chat, is it the Tiger Cav that get extra attack when they get kills? I thought it was. I didn't think that was the Iron Pagoda. I guess Capture Age just can't capture that stat. Which is really a bummer that we have a feature in the game and the casting program doesn't actually show it. But it doesn't actually show that change in Capture Age. But Barles is giving himself a shot here. Thing about Manaspa that isn't talked about a lot when they talk about how strong they are is the production speed. Like, they produce so freaking fast. Which is why I kind of like the balance of them now, because they're much squishier than before. There's been multiple changes. Maybe Capture Age does show the stat, and he didn't kill military units. Because if you have to kill military units, I wasn't looking in the other fight. Let's see. He killed Vils. And that's where I was looking. So maybe I'm incorrect. Is Barles about to drop another castle? Seems like it. He also kept this one up, which was crazy. He did a great job keeping that one up. And he's going to drop a castle there. He's killing villagers on stone here. Vinchester's in Imp. And, Barles. No! These are Manaspa, bro! Yikes! Well, that's huge. That's amazing denial there for Vinchester, who still has the villager lead. And it will drop another castle. And then here he can make trebs for this castle. And then here he can make trebs for this castle. I mean, Barles has put up a great fight. But I still think he's cooked. He tries the quick walls, but Vinch's castle will just shoot those villagers anyways. And Vinchester responds. Does make me think a little bit, though. Like, if I'm Barles, I was so far behind this entire game, and you still turned it into a really good game. I think you can gain some confidence from that. The Manaspas have come to the main eco for Barles, which Barles hasn't had to deal with it all game. Barles will now dive with Tiger Cav. And to take the Treb, he gets the hill. And okay. I can't really check if the Tiger Cav got extra attack from taking the Treb. Yes I can actually, but I can't tell. We need other fights. Capture Age Fit added a lot of other things for the DLC, so I'm going to assume it will show. I don't know about taking Trebs. Maybe you need regular units. Lots to click on here. Not seeing it. GG's called because all the castles are getting Trebbed down. And there's Manaspa everywhere. Well played from Vinchester. It was honestly just Feudal Age. It was honestly just Feudal Age. And anyone who dare trash talk my dear Jean Bays, I think it just really comes back down to the situation they were making the unit in, okay? I think it would have been the same if it was Cav Archers. When you take that many losses and that many hits and you don't have army, and then you have to make a hard switch into Cav Archers, and you have all those units, you're naturally not going to have the flow of the game, and they're going to have time to get to skirm and get the ballistics before you and get the eco set up. I still think, though, like, that was a great game from Barles despite the loss, because the opening was not smooth, and then he at least hung on. So I would still just feel as though if he would have fixed the early game problems, he might have won this one, because he should have never had any chance there, and he made it close. So GG. All right, Burmese Romans. Are you guys ready for a crazy game? Because that's exactly what we're going to have here. This is a really fun map, which I also haven't seen in a while, which is nice. This is called Ring of Reeds. And players can come to the middle to mill the deer and the berries and the shorefish. But they also can simply use a sheep to hold a gate open, and they can just go their separate ways and take as much deer as possible from the middle. On the outside, you also have a ring of shorefish. Now, they're kind of spread out, so it's not super easy to just consistently place mills there and feel good about it. If they would add more shorefish in between, that would be all you would see. So it's an option, but it's not clear. And then you have a lot of your stones and golds right there on the front. So it's a good tower rush map. It's a really good castle drop map. It's really good aggression through the middle map to deny stones and golds. And then the outer ring doesn't have a lot more. There's also some random gold in these trees. And actually, I should point out that this is quite literally a ring of reeds, guys. So these reeds only have 50 wood on them. A normal tree is 100 wood. So you work your way through the wood a lot faster. If you want a better wood line than that, you need to move to the outside. So we'll see if that happens. But I would have expected Man-at-Arms from Vinchester with Burmese. Maybe Man-at-Arms Towers. And he goes for a dock? What is Vinchester cooking here? What? Has anyone seen this before? Okay. Dock on the water. I mean, it is water. It is doable. You can drop off shorefish at the dock. Someone says Lewis did it. Okay, so there's probably some prepped strategies behind the scenes. Somebody started it if someone else did it in the qualifier. If I know that like someone like Lewis would have been practicing, maybe played some games against Vinchester. It's really fun, actually. You can tell who practiced with who based on what strategies you see in these types of qualifiers. Is Vinch going fast castle then? Can anyone tell me if you saw it before what they actually did with the dock or like after the opening? I mean, it's not horrible. It's good investment. Don't tell me he goes for a second dock now. I wonder if Barles even expects this. Barles is walking around the outside with 2 militia and a villager. And Barles also hasn't clicked up to Feudal, and now Barles is coming to the middle, and he could mill the middle. And villager gets spotted. Villager's being attacked. Villager does not have loom, but the scout is weak for Vinchester right now. Why is the scout weak for Vinchester? They must have fought earlier. Lewis destroyed Jordan like this? So he made navy? Like, went galleys? Well, I mean, if you go galleys, you can take down all the walls. So that's interesting. Okay. Wow, new meta. And then go fish traps. That's pretty sick. You just go galleys, lock down the water, and then you go fish traps for food eco. I think what would be really good against that is like a man-at-arm tower play through the middle, but Barles is going to the outside. Because at least then if you go man-at-arm tower, you can maybe deny the gold. Hard to say. Certainly a unique one. And Barles is going to see the dock. Barles probably saw some of those games that you guys are referring to. Vinchester loses his scout. This villager was building up barracks against the edge of the map. This fishing ship will just sail away. Still feels like Vinch was trying to go fast castle here. And then Barles... almost feels like he'll turn this into forward archers. Oh, he goes forward dock. Yeah, that's why he brought the Vil. I think my read on the situation here... Obviously, I missed out on some games, right? But my read on the situation is that Barles expected some shenanigans like this, and that's why he went pressure on the outside, and he wants forward dock to stop it. It'll be fun to see. I actually could make a video out of this. We can go through all the different examples of the strategy being used. I might actually, if I time it well, I might actually be able to ask players who played practice games to send me some examples, and once the qualifiers are over, we can talk about it. That'd be super cool. I like doing games like that. You don't get to do it all the time. Barles must have a dock somewhere else. And now he's gone for a dock in the middle. And he's going to go galleys here as well. Bro, this is mind-blowing to me. As someone who's seen this map maybe like a dozen times before in other tournaments, what I am seeing right now is crazy. We went from 0 docks to 3 docks and maybe more. Mill gets taken out. All right. That's something. Villager's still very weak here, actually. You don't want to lose that if you're Barles. And Barles gets the quick wall down. The archer's on the way, though. So good luck saving her. And that archer's going to go try and make it over to that villager. Is a fire galley from Barles. And Barles' 1 HP villager will run away. In the middle, we have a tower, and we have a galley. So Vinchester's counter-towering, but there's a galley behind. Now, that galley needs to back up by about 2 tiles. It can still range the Vils. I actually don't hate the fact that Vinch is trying to YOLO this, though, because this is an uncomfortable game, and he needs to change that in some way. The opening from Barles seems really annoying to deal with. And the galley. Oh! Galley got sniped! Yeah, galleys are expensive. This is really good for Vinch. Still not good out here. But I think Barles lost that villager, right? Oh, no, she's still there. She's still alive. Archers for Vinchester will counterattack. Barles doesn't have an archer range for skirmishers or anything. There's the archer range now. And Barles likely lose this tower now. He also got semi-trapped in there by Vinchester. Vinchester built a quick house there. Vinchester, though, doesn't trap them all. Kills one Vil. Will protect his golds. Has the tower up. That's fine. And now the archer counterattack is coming. Does Barles sense this? There's also a fire galley coming this way. Barles is running from the fire galley. Actually, no, they just moved to a new shorefish. That was it. Actually, moving with the fire galley ends up hurting Vinchester because if had been archers, it would have been much stronger. This reed could be overchopped. I think if that reed is overchopped, I think the archers can get through. But Vinchester has a lot more to focus on. He's got archers over here. He'll need some fires over here. This is crazy. So much happening right now. And again, Sneak Villager is here still. She's alive for something later on. Oh, the reed just got chopped. Did it not? Is that not open? No, there's another reed behind. Okay. Whew, that could have been really bad for Barles. He's just going to move away from that wood line. Make a couple more of his own archers. He does still have the food income in the middle. I'd honestly like to see him be a bit more aggressive here. And honestly, you can't drop off deer or berries at the dock. So I think a mill there would be nice too once he gets the wood again. Vinchester has farms. Barles has farms. They've transitioned there nicely. So does it just end up being castle drop from here? I mean, siege push through the middle feels very strong for Barles if he can make it to Castle Age. But then Vinchester playing into monks and Arambai with Burmese would make sense. So there's lots of solid options. Yeah, I know there's technically a trick to drop off other sources of food at a dock, but you're not going to do that in this type of game. It's way too messy for that. Too many other things you'd miss out on. All right, next person to subscribe gets named after this villager. Or, well, no. I will name this villager after you. Sorry. Other way around. We'll keep track of her. I don't know if she's going to do much except build houses, but this could be a sneak to potentially do something crazy in the back of Vinchester's base. She's kind of been the key to starting this all off here. Oh my god, what is that? QT, 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 QT. Thank you for the sub. Okay. QT, 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 QT. I don't know how many Qs and how many Ts. But she's a cutie right there. She's a cutie. I'll keep you updated on cutie. Thank you, cutie, for the sub. Alright, guys. We're going to go down the list. We're going to name every villager. So just go ahead and subscribe. I'm kidding. That would be way too much. As much as I'd like 90 or hold on, math is hard. 80 more subs. I'm not naming individual villagers and tracking them. That's tough. But I've got Cutie on a control group right now. So far she's just building houses. Now, this is nice from Barles. Built a tower and has the archers inside to shoot down the other tower, but Finch already still has some archers left over and is doing the same. Group of archers from Barles on this side. There is another dock from Vinchester. Now, I think this is dock blocked. So, ships cannot pass through there. But that's a problem because he can't actually come back with his own fire right now. He dropped a palisade there too. Villager down there for Vinchester. And probably another villager down as well. And there's Cutie, and then there's this guy looking for her. I assume that's why Vinchester's building houses for vision around the map. Nice snipes there from Barles. Barles is still 2 minutes away from Castle Age. Here come the villagers for Vinchester. And Cutie is telling me it's 12 Qs and 1 T. Smiley face. Okay, I'm sorry, but we have a game to cast. I don't think I can correct the amount of Qs and Ts, but we appreciate the support. Here come the villagers to drop a very aggressive castle. There is an archer range there. That could be a lot of archers, but it's not. It's only one. And oh man, that's a crazy castle. That's a crazy castle. This needs to go up for Vinch, obviously. I think you bring more vills if you have to. Vinch will go. This will go up. Also a demo waiting in that dock there for Vinchester. But now what does Barles do? He can barely take these golds. I think he can probably delete some walls and place a TC to still take some. But castle pressure on this map is crazy. Okay, drops a tower. Now, realistically, what you need to do is you need to move to the outside, but there's not a lot of stuff there. The thing I don't like about this map as a player is it's too bumpy out here. It's too hilly, so you can't town center in a lot of areas. And now Vinchester's going to be making Arambai. There's Cutie. That's a lot of Q's and T's. There she is. She's good. And Vinchester actually going to town center this. Now, I think the fire ship might destroy the foundation. Oh, it wasn't patrolled. Oh, if that was patrolled, I think the foundation would have actually got instantly nuked. But Vinchester's fortunate, and that's good. Gives him some food eco. Arambai are still massing in this castle. Romans can't make demos, so you don't have to worry that flag on the dock is a demo, which is nice. Vinchester's shooting down this tower. Vinch is looking like he's in a great spot. Vinch is in an amazing spot right now. I don't know what Barles can do. Like, Barles can't do counter damage. Barles can defend, but then he's pushed off of all of his resources. Arambai run through. Vinchester, ever since game 1, has really just become more aggressive. That was the main thing that I was critical of. And I love the TC, like I said. Fire Galley will get taken out now. The Arambai just break through the walls. And Barles is basically without gold right now. He didn't scout any of the back area of his base. There is a little bit of gold back here, but it seems impossible for him to find that. He could take this, I guess. But now the Arambai are back here. So, not so easy. I think the Arambai are really good. It's a weird unit because they're inaccurate, but when you get a lot of units in a group that are inaccurate, you hit a lot of the group. It's kind of like organ guns in that sense. Like, organ guns have really bad accuracy, but you can demolish a whole group once you get enough of them. The real benefit of being Burmese now is this unit only costs wood and gold. So you got the free wood upgrade. Super smooth for you to produce villagers and military. And so while Elite Skirmisher is a nice play against Arambai, Skirmishers cost food, and it's really hard to have food eco right now if you're Barles. The Barles has done a really nice job. And honestly, the population's even. Like, I keep talking as if implying that this is just kind of impossible for Barles, but he still is on gold. He's just double tower here. If he can get stone for his own castle, maybe get up to imp, maybe he can push that down. That's the issue now for Vinchester, is he never actually focused this. I think had he gone siege right away, maybe then it would have been better. But yeah, loving the amount of people who are here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Magnificent Fluffy, for the 3 months. Thank you, Babu. Welcome back. Thanks for 20. Cutie, here you are. She's a cutie, building houses. I don't think she'll ever be found, by the way. Maybe Vinchester's getting relics, though, so maybe Vinchester will look for that. Vinchester massing more navy, maybe thinking about this outer ring because the TC's here. And a lot of that, if you have navy in that ring, you're going to control a lot of the wood long term. But a little dock block there from Barles. Man, I love seeing dock blocks. We don't see dock blocks enough. It's so cool. War Galley upgrade for Vinch. Vinch also ramming down the archer range, which is getting crossbowmen, which Barles will never notice. And nope, he got crossbowmen. Got it in the last second there. Ballistics is in for crossbowmen as well. The Arambai are pretty weak. They don't have bloodlines. That's the thing you do need to remember about them. They can get up to 80 HP, but only after bloodlines. And Barles hanging in. Barles hanging on. Ram now from Vinch. I would have loved to see 2 or 3 Manganels to just push down the towers, because it also helps you against the skirms. But he will add more rams. And, oh, Cutie is fighting back! Cutie, you're a legend! You're 1 HP, though. What do you... Ah, Cutie is dead. Sorry, Cutie. But that was a little ambitious. She's dead. It's all right. She did good work. She started the whole push. She built the forward dock. She built lots of houses. She will be someone we remember. Unlike these lumberjacks over here. No one cares about these lumberjacks. They care about more unique life, so... Bloodline's on the way for Vinchester's Arambai. Villager gets sniped by Barles. Ballistics soon for Vinchester. And the Rams take down 1 tower. And, okay, that Vil is in there. Run faster, dude. Run faster in there with the little wheels. Take the Manganel. Villager? Can you do it? No. Manganel survives. War galleys, though, are beginning to be problematic over here. Farms are delayed. TCs can get ranged. War galleys are insanely strong now. And also, Vinchester could be on the way to the Imperial Age soon. It just feels like Vinch... Game 1, he never could be aggressive to get momentum and control. But the previous 2 games... Well, I guess the previous game and this game... He's been able to do that perfectly here. Well, though I will say, Barles did open more aggressively. He just defended from it nicely. Played into the archers and dealt with this. I think this is one of those things that it's really refreshing to see someone make these ships on this map. But if this is genuinely OP, and all the map becomes is a dock spam fest here, over time it might not be quite as exciting. But I want to see a lot more games with this and see what people are trying. Sick micro from Barles. He actually was able to click the monk there. But Barles is castle dropping Vinchester, and Vinchester's already on the way to him. So Vinchester's just like, thanks. That's now a castle that I can simply treb down. This feels like this is going to be Vinchester's win at this rate. Oh! Big demo there from Vinchester on the fires. Barles obviously distracted, I'm sure. And it's not really about the ships now as much as it is the eco and the trebs. Arambai are still around. Arambai have kind of been an afterthought. They haven't been used too much. I think Vinchester did the right things to just worry about economy and Imperial Age. But now that he's on the way to Imp, he can focus with the Arambai. The Arambai forced a lot of skirm production and upgrades. And there are those skirms, so Vinch will back away. Still Navy over here. Just a little bit here or there, but Imp, guys. Like, does Barles GG, or does he needs a ram push now? He has some rams here. I think this was actually to push down this castle, though. And now Vinchester getting +2 armor for Cav. He doesn't actually have a lot on food, but this might just be for a couple nights. A couple nights against a couple skirms is great. The trebs are on the way as well, though. Just a big, big issue for Barles, who I'm sure expected the dock shenanigans to an extent. That's why he dock blocked it and built the dock on the front to go for aggression, but he had so much happening at once. The dock, he also had the man-at-arms, he also had to go archers, he also had to manage eco. So maybe it was too many things at once. But here we go. Barles might lose his town center here. He's expecting to. That's why he's building the mill. He's going to ram down this castle. Genuinely need to see murder holes right now. Murder holes research is so fast these days. But pros are so scared of that tech. They're like, I think they're worried that a bunch of chatters are going to call them a noob or something. Murder holes could help. You get the arrow fire onto the rams. Treb behind's protected. The rams are going to town. Arambai don't destroy rams that quickly. Especially because they'll miss. Aaron are like me playing darts at the bar. I'm not good. But... okay. The castle's going down. Now, there's still this castle, though. And this Treb is still taken out of town center. And I assume there's going to be knights eventually because Vinchester's getting cav upgrades. But the Rams have done the job. And that's a Treb down as well. And Barles will keep the castle up. Crazy. But can Barles do that again? And can Barles do that again and again and again and again and again? I mean, he's stuck in Castle Age now. Again, Vinch is so relaxed under pressure. It's so funny. Like, he's getting +3 cav armor. He doesn't even have stables yet. And now Centurions hop out from Barles, and Barles will snipe the Treb. And now he wants to snipe the other one. Vinch can quick wall this. Vinch can definitely quick wall this. But Vinch doesn't quick wall this. And so another Treb's going to go down. These Rams are being repaired. Is Barles winning this right now? What is happening? There's more Rams. What is happening? Another castle from Finch. Okay. I mean, there are knights on the field now for Vinchester, so we can actually take out the Rams. And with knights, the Rams will die. And with this castle, he's just going to have more Trebs. The villagers are doing better than the Arambai were, of course. They have some melee damage output. And yeah, this castle stays up. So I got a little worried there for Vinchester. But we're just back in the same situation. He's got 2 castles. Barles is stuck in Castle Age. And it'll be Arambai and Knights. But again, only 2 Knights. He's going to produce a few more. And another Treb's going to get sniped. But this is actually okay. Right? A little wasteful, but your castle's killing a lot because your castle has Bracer. And the Arambai are now into the eco where there's not enough skirms. And another Treb can come out from here. Barles' castle's barely hanging on. And I think there's no way that Barles can take down a castle anymore. Vinchester just had such a big lead. A little relaxed. A little too relaxed, maybe, but he's done all the right things this game. Behind all the fights, his eco is just perfect. And GG. Damn. That was a nice play from Barles, though. So that's 2 straight games where I think Barles should have died much faster, and he holds on. But he needs to prevent, like, falling behind in the first place. And in this game, it all went back to where the castle was. I actually think if Vinchester went for a defensive castle, which a lot of people would do, it would clear up a tower. He would then take the stone and gold. He would then boom and make Arambai. A lot of people are okay with that. But Vinchester's like, no, actually, I'm going to take a little bit of a risk, and I'm going to put my opponent under immediate pressure. It was the positioning of this castle that was pretty sick. And then from there, Barles had to respect it a lot more. Barles couldn't take this gold because of this castle. He couldn't take this stone because of this castle. If it was a defensive castle, he could maybe build TCs, and he could be comfortable there. So, a lot of times, guys, games can be decided on the positioning of a castle. And while there were other aspects there, I think that was kind of key. Barles had good food in wood eco, but he just didn't have gold. Didn't have stone. He didn't know what units to make, it seemed. But I guess Romans, you basically pick for the eco lead. You pick for the eco lead, and it's not about what units you make, it's how many you make. GG. So if you were to consider any player the clown here, you might consider that Barles. I actually think both these players are fantastic on Arena. I would say it's pretty close. And we've got the Bengalis for Barles, and we've got the Portuguese for Vinchester. Now, this version of Arena has the chickens, and I'm wondering if these players are going to chicken funnel, or will they chicken mill? The funnel is a technique that the devs hate. I'm assuming, because they literally created the chickens so you had to mill them and not push them. But people found out pretty quick that you can build little walls towards your TC, and if you can bump the chickens, they will try and go to the other side of the wall and then path in towards your town center. And I think they're going to chicken funnel because they're building houses in a way that seems to help the funnel. Obviously, Vinchester needs these houses. But yep, here we go. We got 2 partially built gates. We've now got a palisade and a palisade. And look at those stupid chickens. It's not the players' fault the chickens are dumb. There we go. The chickens say, hey, let's go to the other side. And now that's a chicken underneath the TC. That's a chicken underneath the TC. And then usually some of them will actually waddle over there themselves. But you usually need to have a scout to bump them. Because they can only move a couple. They only move like 2 tiles, unlike deer, which can move endlessly. Now, I used to think diagonal gates were key for this. I actually think diagonal palisades are the best, but obviously that's way harder to do. Because you have to bump a little bit more. Let's see. So Vinch is trying to bump it over that side. One of them's going to go. And is that one going now? Yep, there they go. There they go. So, do you guys think they should change this? I kind of like it because it's... I mean, on other maps, you can argue it's not even worth it. I think it's hilarious. I think it's silly. Everyone who says it's bad, it's because you hate having to chicken funnel yourself. That's because you're a miller and you don't have the APM to deal with a chicken funnel. Let's be real. No, because it's hilariously stupid. Okay, and you don't think villagers building 3 partially built houses to keep out an army is stupid? There's a lot of stupid things in the game. AW2 is filled with stupid things. It's just stupid things we're used to, you know? I get the take, though. I get the take. The stupid argument is this animal is designed to be milled, and this is a loophole. But yeah, I would say on other maps, it's not worth it because you need to scout. But on Arena, you don't need to scout. Like, scouting doesn't give you any value on Arena. You're just deciding on your opening already. And you're fast castling, so... Actually, hold on. Barles is going to go archers. Barles is going to go archers. And then you delete the walls. You get some of your stuff in return. It's kind of funny, but this is a build that Vinchester's known for. Archers and towers to break through into the enemy walls. People don't scout for relics anymore. Well, I mean, scouting is important, but not in Dark Age, right? You don't look at your opponent's map and make decisions like other maps. So you have plenty of time to scout for relics otherwise. So yeah, scouting is important, but on Arabia, I think it's funny when people do this because it's a lot harder on Arabia because you don't have the walls to use, the stone walls. So you need to do a lot more. And then you genuinely need scouting. And I see a lot of people who do this get completely screwed because they don't know what the opponent's doing. So I think it's pretty balanced in that aspect. But yeah, I kind of expected they would do it here. Barles going to gold now. And here comes Barles to batter down through these walls. Vinchester just getting that last chicken. And by the way, the chicken will consistently run as if the walls are there. You notice that? So even if it would have started running from back here, you can delete and they'll still run as if the walls are there when they're in that mode. Vinchester might have been expecting this because before the army arrived, he's actually taking the gold on the back. These villagers are here. But I think this is so he can build his market and his blacksmith. Walls are slowly going down. There's the market. He probably wants to wall behind this. But does Vinchester recognize there's archers too? There's a gap here, and there's a gap here he needs to wall. Oh, okay. I know what he's going to do. Because projectiles miss a lot, he's just going to try and boop down a stone wall here. Yeah, but the archers have hopped out. Yeah. You see how many of those arrows miss, guys? Everyone likes to complain about the TC, but it's actually just projectiles in general in DE that do not hit as consistently as people would like, and that gives him a little bit more time. A lot of the arena clowns who get tower rushed do exactly that. They add a wall. John Slow's doing that all the time. Draken's doing that all the time. So that gives him a bit more time. And now, I think Vinchester will go into a siege workshop. The thing about the strategy is, though, from Barles, he's already got 2 extra vills as the Bengalis. His eco's completely untouched. So he hasn't done any damage yet. And he obviously needs to make more progress, but his eco should be pretty good long term. It's not like Vinchester can counterattack. And Vinchester has to go for a long line of houses here to keep this army out. So he won't get housed anytime soon. But he will give up some map. Barles will be happy with all the disruption he's forced. Villager gets saved by Vinch. Super smooth. Yeah, it's actually amazing how players will delay Loom when they're attacking sometimes, but Barles does have it now. Because you just know if the other guy's going fast castle, he's not going to have army. You don't even need Loom. The reason you don't drop a tower in Vinch's position is because the opponent has archers. They'll beat you in the tower war because they can put their archers inside the tower. So the addition of the archers is actually more than anything there simply to disrupt the tower defense. Because if you just tower rush, they can play tower defense and be even with you. TC there for Vinch. He's lost some grounds, but he is in Castle Age and he's dropping a Manganel. Now, Chad, I've talked about this even in medieval cast. The rule of thumb that less experienced players with this strategy always forget is you have to wait for 2 Manganels. 2. You don't go with 1, because you can lose that. You wait for 2, and then you're fine. And Barles is dropping a stable. Barles is going to go scouts, which is super fun. This is blast from the past for me. I remember when Tower Rush first started on Arena, you'd see this. Why 2? Well, if you have multiple towers with archers filled, it's very easy for like that starting scout and 1 tiny misstep for the 1 Manganel not to be enough. With 2, you shred a Feudal Age tower so fast. So you can go with 1, but more often than not, experienced players tend to focus that down. So that's why Vinch is waiting. And the second he is 2, it's no question that this tower is going down. Not even a chance that there's any weird mistakes here. Vinch has played really calm and relaxed here. But look how fast the tower goes down. See, that's 1. It's a different situation, and maybe the Manganel's focused down. Scouts goes down for both. The tower goes down. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And actually, Vinch... Vinch's villa is being attacked now. Okay. Barles is trying to just open up a window to make scouts now, but yikes. There's only 1 scout, and oh man, this is not looking so good. Vinch was so relaxed, man. So relaxed. And also, he's not worried about the scout because he just has vills waiting in his TC to fire arrows. Now, his idle TC is going to be crazy because he doesn't have the farm set up, and he has a lot of idle vills. But he is pushing this back. But again, is this bad for Barles? It's not horrible. Losing the stable isn't great, but his eco is still fantastic. He's on the way to Castle Age. He'll get 2 additional vills. He didn't lose any vills. And he kind of has some map control, too. So, I think it's still very winnable for Barles. I wouldn't like this if Barles didn't have the Bengalis or any civ that gives you villager bonuses. You guys can't see me right now, but I've been fighting with the wheels on my chair. I'm getting trolled by my chair right now. I don't know if, like, what's happening, but my chair is just rolling to the left as if someone has slanted my house to the side. One of my wheels must have been stuck on my chair. And it just... I don't know. Something changed. Yeah, Vinchester does not want to allow units to come in anymore. And look at this, man. It just... He's always ready. Yeah, there's the archers from Barles. Barles can't even kill the Vil because Vinchester's just too cool for school, man. Too cool for school. That's amazing. He made that look so easy. And now Barles has to make another stable. So let's look at res destroyed. Look at value destroyed. 1,700 resources destroyed by Vinch. And it's going to be more than that because the range will go down too. But Vil count's pretty close. And Barles can produce villagers out of multiple TCs when he gets there. It's actually going for a university? That's odd. I think this is a misread from Barles. I think he's expecting Vinchester to go 1 TC fast imp. And so he's trying to match it. Well, he might not be trying to match it. He might just think that fast imp is the best play for him regardless. So the plan is to hold the map, forward castle, fast imp trebs. That's the plan. But I wouldn't have hated second and third TC. I mean, he's on 1 and he's only behind by 5 Vils. He has healthy farm count. Vinchester doesn't have map control. You can snag the relics. You can boom. But Barles did not see the second TC from Vinch. And I don't know if he saw the farms. That's obviously a spectator bug. Vinch is just chilling on 3 TCs right now. But there's Imp. Now, let's go back for a second. Look bottom right when this happens. Okay, look at the score. So score's there. Score dips by about 200 points. So I'm wondering if Vinch senses what this is now. I'm not really sure what you change strategy-wise. I would say you go Lycab probably, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting here from Barles. He's going to go monks. He wants trebs. You will see some players drop a second TC here. There's always some Twitch chatters that'll make an argument for that because it's like, you get an additional 2 Vils. But you're committed everything towards the kill here. The extra 2 Vils you're going to get is not worth it when you're behind by 20. And there's the castle from Barles. Vinchester super patient. Now, against a lot of monks and trebs all-ins, full castle age, non-stop Lycab spam can be really good. But against the Bengalis, it's different because they can make a couple Ratha and they can put them in melee mode and it can tank in front of the monks really well and do a lot of damage. Also, the monks themselves are already really strong, so it's kind of hard to get any kills here. This might be a kill. No, Sanctity. No. Yeah, Sanctity wasn't even in. And Barles will be Imp. And Vinchester's on the way. Vinchester expects Imp. Look at the TC position. I think he intentionally went for that safe TC. And he will go for archer ranges now. So nice eco lead for Vinch. Had he moved out to get relics, he would have probably been massacred by the archers and the scouts. He wouldn't have this imp time. So I don't mind this. I think his plan is to go skirms. Instead of Lycaf. Skirms have some range. And he has good eco. 25 villager lead. Barles is making the first treb, and Barles is starting to shoot down this wall to break in. Redemption completes for Barles. And Vinchester sees that and deletes the Manganel, which is a pretty sick delete. Not deleting that would obviously have pretty negative consequences, and he backs away now. Vinch get Devotion. Devotion... No. Wait, where is it? Why am I forgetting what that looks like? Is that not here? I guess since every civ gets Devotion, it doesn't show it there. Or is it... Am I blind? It's not... Oh, wait. I think maybe it's the first tab of Faith. Okay, so he doesn't have that. Oh, he's going to go crossbow. Okay. And a very defensive castle for Vinchester. Here comes the treb. Does the monk get hit with the treb by the treb? Or does the TC? I always think it's funny when units underneath TCs get hit by trebs. Damn, this is a lot of pressure from Barles. Holy. Holy. You better stack some houses back here, Vinchester, because you're going to need them. Losing your TCs like this and all your houses in this line. Especially if Barles converts them. Barles wants to know what he's doing, but at the same time, Barles, regardless, is just going to be going for more monks and more trebs. Maybe 1 or 2 Ratha. But he doesn't have the eco for lots of Ratha upgrades. It's all about the monks. Also, Barles missing this relic is kind of disappointing. I don't think he sees it. He probably won't focus then. And he sees its crossbow. But monks are insane. Monks have 12 range. I don't think Vince should be out here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I said 3 and 4. I didn't see it yet. There's 3. Well, I mean, Vince didn't really kill a ton. But he does force Barles back. Gives him some time. And he deletes his Manganel so he doesn't lose the Manganel to a conversion. But the Treb is still alive for Barles. Barles is bringing Vils to repair now. Bengali monks are insane. And what better way to make use of them? By going Imperial. And getting to the 12 range as fast as possible. It was a really good call. Vinchester's castle's in the back. He'll make some trebs. Bengali monks are so strong, dude. Look at this. They just don't die. Do eventually, but now there's Ratha here. Now there's the converted crossbows. Now Vinchester has to fall back. He'll lose another town center. And the thing is, Barles actually is macroing like a beast as well. He's dropping the second town center. He's produced Vils out of his first all the time. Barles has played it perfect. The tower rush was just the setup. Vinchester's still a 30 villager lead, though. Barles, you can't overextend with your monks. This is sloppy here. You took a good fight. You need to fall back. You need to collect everything else. I'm getting a little concerned for him right now. I think he's maybe distracted at home. I'm not sure. Maybe he just saw everything he's killing here, which is pretty valuable. Vinchester doesn't have a town center now. But he's queuing a lot of skirms at the moment. And there's devotion. Yeah, really sloppy not to have devotion before. You know your opponent's going monks. He probably just forgot. Devotion upgrade might actually be lost here, but I think the upgrade will come in just in time. He got it. Okay, skirm versus monk. Here we go. For Barles, there's a lot more clicking involved. He's certainly converting well, though. And he's saving the monks this time, unlike the previous time. These games just kind of melt your brain, even as a caster. Bombard cannons are out from Vinch, which the monks can convert, which is crazy. So I would say maybe wait a little bit more, Vinchester. And don't lose that bombard cannon. Do not lose. Oh, did you see that shot on the monk? There's another one. 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 Oh, it got converted. And now the Treb. That was so risky, right? Like, so risky to move out, but he's under such pressure. And I know the tech tree says Bengalis don't get bombard cannons, but they do now. Vinchester, no TC, no pop space. And now his villas are escaping. Can Barles see that? He should. And Barles can see that. I mean, we're escaping for what, though? Escaping to their death is what they're doing. Vinch is nothing now. Ratha will be over there in no time. Another castle now from Barles. Look at that. He's got his monks numbered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 conversions. Just monks are crazy, man. And GG. I said in Dark Age, who's the bigger clown here? I would say Barles. Especially when you call an arena player a clown, it's usually because of their obsession with monks. That's where it all started. And so, 2-2. Let's go. Fast Imp was a great call. You just wonder if Vinchester needed to do a little bit more for map control. But honestly, there were still leftover archers. There were still scouts from Barles. And Vinch had to focus on his economy. So I think maybe he needed light cav, but his opening wasn't built around that because his opening was to defend from the towers. He didn't have a barracks or anything. It would have been nice, though, if Vinchester went light cav, in hindsight, right? If he just flooded the map and stopped that castle, he had a 20 or 30 villager lead. He could have prevented the relics from coming in. Having light cav could have been useful just in general. But that's what the tower rush does. The tower rush takes initiative, and then he takes the map, and your opponent isn't really entirely sure how to deal with it. 2-2, guys. We move into the deciding game. All right. Now, this one we have not seen today. This one I also have no clue how to say. I'm going to give it my best shot here. You guys can rank my pronunciation on scale on a rate of 1 to 10, okay? Say Chelis. Shells. Say Chelis. Is it instead of 2 L's, is it supposed to be like say Chelis? I don't know. She sells seashores down by seashells down by the seashore, okay? That's all I know. Pretty cool map. I've only seen a handful of games on it. We've got 2 different approaches here, perhaps. Vinchester's gone for the Italians, and that's for the cheap docks, great navy, and overall great adaptive play on water maps. There's obviously a ton of fish on the outside, and all these cool little islands. The terrains look very cool, I have to say. But in the middle, there actually seems to be a little bit more fish, which is smart balance-wise if you want to incentivize more aggressive plays. It seems like maybe there's a little bit more. Maybe it's actually around the same. But you have the potential to dock on the middle. If you dock in the middle, I don't think your ships can get to the outside. And vice versa, if you're on the outside, you can't get to the middle. And then there's potential for aggression on land because of these land areas that connect the 2 players. So, a pretty decent hybrid map. I would say it's a little bit more water heavy than hybrid. But I would expect the Wu was chosen for the Man-at-Arm opening. And like a lot of the water maps in this tournament, they actually start with a transport ship as well. So already Barles is scouting, and Barles will have the information that Vinchester has not docked on the outside. And then Vinchester, he actually missed this. He went too early. So now he's scouting with his scout to see if there's a dock in the middle. And if he doesn't see a dock in the middle, he could assume that there's a dock on the outside. But again, the timing on when that dock is built is kind of complicated. So both players are in the dark, technically, on where the opponent is. Another small thing, there are some oysters out here. So you can actually use your fishing ships to take gold from the oysters. So you could shift fishing ships to gold if you were to run out. But they only seem to be on that coast, actually. No, I'm wrong. There's some oysters around. They're just not super accessible. And then there's these tiny islands, which may or may not be used. I doubt these islands are going to be used, but they look nice. Looks like each one's got a relic. Nope, each one does not have a relic. But there's crocodiles there. And that's cool. The oyster thing was added in the Chronicles DLC, right, chat? I think it was around that time. There were a lot of things in Chronicles. So here comes a villager being attacked by the crocodile. They added almost too much. And some of those things I think were not good competitively. And so for that reason, I think there were a couple things that were overlooked because there's so many new things, so many things that are not going into the base game and beyond that DLC. And so, yeah, people are just like, oh, that's its own thing. We'll let it be. The oysters thing is cool. It's a super cool concept. And someone says cool concept, but it gives even more advantage to the player with water control. Not really, though, because the rate at which gold is brought in from oysters, you could argue is maybe a little bit more balanced than the rate that fishing ships bring in from deep fish. in my experience, I just think it's cool. It allows different types of builds. It allows more variety in gameplay. And no one, I could be wrong on this, but I don't think anyone's going to take oysters with fishing ships unless they fall behind on land anyways. But I guess you're right. You know, if you lose water normally, you don't have that fallback. It's a cool concept. I like it. I like it a lot. Now, Vinchester. He's going to drop a dock over here because he just saw that that's where Barles will be fishing. And he has no clue that Barles has come with a forward vil and that Barles is going for man-at-arms and a sneak archer range behind. This is game number 5. It's been a back-and-forth series. I love this opening from Barles. The problem is, his civ is so good with it that Vinchester just straight up expects man-at-arms. Like, he's pre-walling everything because that's what the Wu do, right? The Wu get extra food from their barracks. The Wu have amazing infantry. So it's smart from Vinchester in crunch time to recognize I've got to pre-wall my resources here. And he's kind of been looking around, waiting for this man-at-arm attack to come. And it does come in. Now, Vinch is trying a fast castle now. He has to get quick walls. This is so risky, man. I'm shocked he's actually trying this, but he is. Maybe felt like he had enough food here. This is a situation where you don't play one aspect of this properly, you're just dead. But if you can get the build perfect, you could be okay. Now, the direction the man-at-arms came in might make Vinchester look around. And he's on the way to Castle H. And he's gonna find the archer range, dude. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. It just makes sense. If the man-at-arms come from the left side, which is the long way to run, it simply makes sense that the villager would have built the barracks there and that the villager would continue to come over. And the villagers will leave the shorefish. Tower on the gold immediately then from Vinchester. He killed that archer, which bought him a little bit more time. I think now his plan is to win water. And we'll see if he's able to afford that much. Barles really needs a dock in the middle right now. If Barles had fire galleys in the middle at the same time, this would be sick. But obviously, that's a lot to ask. He goes for a tower, which he will put his archers into to disrupt that gold. And actually, another tower purchased now by Vinchester. And Vinchester's going to rush this tower down. Now, that's only 2 archers. What you can do, every time a villager gets weak, you click him back. You actually could tell he misclicked the first archer. The first villager back. That's so risky, though. At least there, he's damaged the tower enough. And he'll be in Castle Age soon, and his tower will have more HP as is, so he could maybe shoot that down. And now the archers for Barles will move to the side. So risky, man. So risky. And there's the dock from Barles. Vinchester does not see that is there. Vinchester drops the siege workshop. He drops a monastery, but his villagers, Barles is gonna kill! Barles is gonna slaughter. This is so good. This is before any potential pressure on the water. 4 villager kills from Barles. And a super smooth economy back at home. I could still build a mill here. There's plenty of food for him to take. But it still feels winnable for Vinch. Because Barles is so far from Castle Age. With 1 Manganel, it's kind of the arena game all over again. You go 1 Manganel and you push the tower down. But like... So Chad is telling me that Jordan tried this. Is that correct? Jordan did the same thing earlier today? I'm guessing there were some experiences, right? There were practice games between different players, maybe even Vinchester and Jordan. And then the approach works, right? Like, it's a lot of greed. So I'm curious to see how this game plays out from here. But this greed doesn't just happen without information these days. It is the perfect push to punish the FC. The tower, man-at-arms, and forward dock. It really is. And you can tell Vinch is a little bit distracted. There's a villager repairing in there for Barles. Also, Vinch's ship isn't doing any damage. It's firing over top of the dock. The dock is tanking the damage. Horrible. Horrible for Vinchester, who will run out of gold or even repair his Manganel and his ship soon. He didn't lose any fish. He might be back on golds in a second. But Barles is now on the way up, just as Vinchester will get his gold back. And now the fish for Vinchester going down. Super risky. Super, 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 super risky for Vinchester. And now I think Barles can play pretty adaptive from here. I think you can play into archers just fine and try and run around. I think you can go for more docks. I would say if you're killing the fish in the middle, there's no need for another dock here. You could build a second dock on the outside, though. There's lots of different things you can try here. It should be pretty nice. I definitely think the Wu are not as competitive as the Italians long-term. So civ-wise, I think Vinch is in a better spot. And Vinch is not dead. And Vinch definitely factored these extra box turtles into his build. He'll drop a town center there. And Barles already took his, which explains why his mill was a little bit later here. But no war galley upgrade. Like, just dropping TCs with the Italians. Ugh, I don't know. It feels very uncomfortable right now for Vinchester. But he's in it. He's on the second town center much faster. Barles has to be somewhat clinical with his follow-up now. I think Barles should maybe skip Bodkin and Crossbow. Obviously, he clicks it because that's his plan, but I'd like to see the wood upgrade, the water upgrades, and a second dock. And a second TC. We'll see if the Crossbow Bodkin upgrade can do enough here. But I guess if he makes his Jan Swordsman or two, which he's doing, to snipe the siege, then the Crossbow still can get some value. So that's not bad. As Jan Swordsman over here, I think... Is that a crossbowman that killed a monk? I think that was a monk that just died for Vinch. He had one over there. Going for your own siege is kind of tough here. It gets harder to manage the multi-TC economy. So I think what Barles is doing is pretty good. Too many factors to control. Jean Swordsman, crossbow, siege, and multiple TCs is really tricky. He has not won water, though. In the middle, he's obviously had some success, but he hasn't taken down that dock from Vinchester. Maybe eventually Vinchester can come back. Vinchester only 5 villagers behind. Vinchester never saw the barracks, so it might not be in his mind that John Swordsman would arrive. Man-at-Arms come to the right side. Monk is there to convert, and gets the conversion. Okay. Vinchester will complete the third TC. Vinchester's housing like he knows John Swordsman can come in. Yeah, he sees them now. And a couple fires here from Vinch on water, where Barles was potentially a little late. Again, it's just the decision between focus on John Swordsman and crossbow and bodkin and water. But has there been a payoff to all the investment into bodkin and crossbow yet? Not really sure. Well, no, I am sure. I don't think there has been. Not yet. I am unsure on that decision as of yet. But all is good if he just doesn't lose the water. It's not even about the fish. It's about the water control long term. And he does have the fish. And his units are now going to loop over to this side. Almost 2,000 more res collected for Barles. There's more military for Barles on water and on land. So that explains the score difference. It's really nice position. He's also researched more technologies. Like he has bow saw, he has horse collar, he's getting wheelbarrow. For Vinchester, he doesn't have bow saw, but is getting it now. There we go. Which I think traction trebs could be really nice against Italians, because usually the Italians, they win the imp race, and then they win the bombard cannon race. But traction trebs beat bombard cannons in my experience. And the John Swordsman take out the Manganel. It'd be sick, too, if he could survive with 3 of these. Because the regen. The one is super weak. But he's gaining... Oh, he's getting pulled back. He's gaining more HP. Okay. That regen is really strong. Barles saves another one as well. Wow, so good. Barles has been everywhere with this army. It's just, can he also add the eco he needs to elsewhere? He's added some fish. He's pressuring the docks again. He's dropping the 3rd town center. But the 3rd town center has been late compared to Vinchester. Really late. And if this army's gone, Vinch gets to breathe a little bit. And it changes things. And it's very easy with all the town centers and siege workshops and towers around for Barles to look away for a second and lose control. Also very easy for Vinchester to come back on water with the Italians. Good stuff from Vinchester there to save the monk. Good stuff from Barles, though, to just stay active here. Manganel will pop out. Barles sees it. Barles is locked in right now. Vinchester couldn't get the shot off. Vinchester will hop into that tower. John Swordsman and crossbows have to get out of here. But they can find some villagers on the way out. Ballistics is in for Barles as well. Wow. He got ballistics for this. That's crazy. Yeah, this is some good value. Great harassment from Barles. Sometimes it's not even about the kills. It's just about the decisions that you're delaying your opponent from being able to make. Army kind of looping that way. I think they could actually be quick-walled in there. But no. And Vinchester's just hanging in, guys. He's just hanging in. Weaken some fires there. I'll add a demo. Barles is still going to add more docks around, assuming that Crocodile doesn't do something about that. Has lots of docks. But Imp is cheaper for the Italians. I prefer the Italians in a really long game. Early Imp, I think it might actually be an advantage to the Wu, because I think traction trebs are really underrated there. I'm going to show you some examples of my points on YouTube this upcoming week, probably. Because there's a player who's just been spamming traction trebs, and it's really unique. Vinchester still no War Galley upgrade. It's just so weird, though. It's so cheap with the Italians, man. But he's just been behind. Hard to finish off the opponent on this map. Feels really hard to finish off the opponent on this map. And now we got a castle here. Okay. Well, here is protected by a couple monks with really cool hats and a Manganel. But that's not a big enough... Yeah, I was going to say, that's not really big enough. This is the main channel to attack the other. So I prefer first castle here. And then you can castle the left later on. You also don't want Barles to see your castle so we can pressure it. So Barles doesn't know about that castle now. And Barles is on the way to Imp. This will not be an Imp into GG situation. This is game 5. Both players have played insanely well. Both players could win the next series, which they would get into if they win this tomorrow, and get a flight to a 50k land. So this will be a long game. Even if a player's behind, I think they're going to fight down to the limit. There are tiny details you could think about. Does anyone know if you can walk out there? I don't think you can. Kind of looks like it's designed like you could, but I'm guessing you cannot walk out there. Maybe taking those stones and golds would make sense. It's a little confusing. I'm guessing you cannot. And a TC from Barles here. That's interesting. I mean, there is a gold here. This is part of your opponent's piece of land, so taking that res could be nice. Is he going to traction treb push from here? Remember, guys, traction trebs you just make immediately. That's what's super strong about them. He's castling here? Oh, that's sick. That's sick. Because if you have a castle and you're making traction trebs, he doesn't even know that Vinchester has this castle yet, but it's actually perfect. The crossbows will come in. Good eco upgrades for Barles now. Every upgrade he's missing. He just clearly did an upgrade check. First traction treb is on the way. So now Vinchester wanted to push forward, but now he has to defend the backside. Traction trebs have to be kind of weak against castles, guys, because they outrange bombard cannons and you can produce them immediately. You don't have to wait for chemistry. You don't have to wait at all. So while they are weak against castles, I think for balance purposes, it's actually important that they are. I think this is really tough for Vinch to respond to right now. Like, what does Vinch do? He has to research chemistry. Or he needs a big enough army to just dive and kill him. And there's Sitting Tiger as well. And then this is specific to the Wu. Sitting Tiger, traction trebs, and... Okay, well, Capture Age doesn't like traction trebs. Sorry, one sec. Another day, another Capture Age crash. Anyways, that upgrade basically makes the traction trebs much stronger. Give me a second. I'm so sorry. I know you want to look at the game and not my face. Okay, here we are. Sorry. That adds extra projectiles to the traction trebs. Okay. I think I need to speed up a little bit. There you can see the extra projectiles are there. And Vinch is unable to push. He's unable to think about water. He's unable to do a lot of the things that he would want. He's going to try and go for cav against this. But those LingYuan traction trebs, they're doing some damage there, forcing repairs from Vinchester. Vinchester just going to go light cav now. And Barles is also thinking about water as well. And Wu are a pretty decent naval civ. They're not the best, but they're capable. And Barles, look at the Vil queue right now. He's going to go Arbs too. The forward TC into forward castle here was crazy. I thought he would just give up on this. Castle's about to go down. And Vinchester's waiting until he gets armor to fight this. He's also waiting for bombard cannons. Chemistry takes a long time. It feels twice as long when you're up against traction trebs because they hit you so fast. So it's 14 range. You can get them immediately. And with the Wu, they're insane. And they also have 100% accuracy. So it's funny. I'll ask chat. Chat, do you think traction trebs are good or bad? We're going to see very different responses from people in chat because it's still new. There are situations where it feels bad, good. I personally think Wu traction trebs are absolutely fantastic. I think this is a situation where they hit at the perfect time. But again, you know, chat will have differing opinions. Having something to protect the traction trebs is obviously key. And the Arbalests are here to do the job. Traction trebs are going to wheel back behind the castle now. And good luck, Bombard Cannon. Bombard Cannon actually survives because of the 100% accuracy. If they weren't 100% accurate, it might go down, which is funny. But guys, we've got forward docks from Barles here. Even a forward blacksmith to rub it in. He is controlling all the shorelines right now. And he could add the LingYuans, which also get the additional projectiles. And are like a cannon galleon ship for the Wu. And I think also the Shu get them. I think like 5 or 6 civs get them. I don't actually have it memorized. Barles has just beasted here. This is over. Vinchester tried something very greedy. And he just simply got punished for it this game. The bombard cannon goes down. The TCs are going down. Again, with this stakes, Vinch won't want to call it. He might just be regretting his decisions right now. Who knows? But Barles is going to move on. Crazy set. We do have a raid from Vinch. So he's trying some counter damage. But Barles is set up, man. I mean, Barles is in a great position. He's going to get the Haig Wong now. Think about making some of those units. and drop another forward castle. Barles took control. He held control. And he has gone for the killer blow now from the back of Vinchester's base. Made it look very, very easy. Because there were times in this series where he tried to take control. And then it's hard to invest into so many different areas of attack. Very difficult to get right. Very easy that you don't get enough damage done. I think instead of Arbalest here, he could have honestly just gone Halb. But I guess that wasn't on his mind. But he now has Haiguang, which are better than a Hussar. They're more expensive than a Hussar, but they are better than a Hussar. And that will take care of that. So it's fine. The unit's still more than fine. Now you have a unit. Now that you've lost your traction trebs, you can just snipe the trebuchets there from Vinch. I mean, Vinch is going tower defense on the shoreline. How desperate is he? Calls the GG. Just super greedy. Just super greedy, in my opinion. From Vinchester, and Barles punished it perfectly. Now, Vinchester does have another qualifier. There is another one next week where more players can qualify. So we'll see Vinchester again next week for that quali. But Barles, we will see tomorrow. And if he wins that series, he'll possibly get in. I'm going to tab into the game for the stats because Capture Age crashed on me. Sorry, guys. But I'm just like sending them non-stop log reports right now. So a crash is, as weird as it sounds, maybe the best way that we eventually get fixes for this stuff. There's the KD. Barles with the 2-to-1 KD. There's the eco. He was ahead in every single category. Super smooth and super clean from Barles. Well played. He's just so well-rounded. And I actually want to look at that bracket real quick to see who he will face tomorrow. I'm not actually sure. Tomorrow, he would face the winner of... Well, actually, we're a long way in this bracket from knowing who he's going to face. Because there's other sets happening in the second round. So this is what the bracket looks like. So Niaz, who's a crazy player from France, who upset Capwatch yesterday, is currently up 2-0 over freaking Andy. That's exciting. We might hop into that. Anyways, winner of these sets have to play, and then they will play Barles. So Barles will obviously wait to play tomorrow. We are a long way from knowing what happens here. Tato Sato is apparently about to start. That's a really good series. I think I might cast that one. And then we already had ACCM Mihai and Sebastian MBL. So that's where everything's at right now. But guys, Niaz does wild stuff. He does wild stuff. He's drushing, he's Vil rushing, he's TC dropping, he's tower rushing. So I don't know what he did in some of these games. He can play somewhat standard as well, but he goes wild. So really fun player. I will have YouTube videos on him eventually.